Welcome to our home here in rural Thailand. We're in the province of Nakhon Ratchasima, and this is our little tiny home here in Thailand. This is where probably the only sourdough bread is being baked for many miles around. Come in, I'll show you around a little bit. There's Maprow, one of our dogs. Choke, Tadio, who is deaf and therefore sleeping soundly. Come on in. And there's Panda. Hello, Panda. Come into our humble abode. We probably got about 450 square feet. This is the kitchen, and this is where the sourdough bread baking takes place. There's my little oven, kind of petite, but we've got everything that's needed to make sourdough. Welcome to another video from Flour Power, baby. What this video is all about, I'm going to show you a simple process for making a starter. It takes 1 week, and you will have enough starter to be able to make a loaf of sourdough bread, as I show in my other video. So, let's get started. So it's day number 7 in our process of making a sourdough starter, and I'm going to see how things are looking here. Let's take a look in here so we can see. It's not, it's really hard to get this. So at this point you may see some bubbling in your sourdough starter, or you may not. You should smell a distinctive sour smell, which is a good sign that your starter is active. Today we're going to do a larger amount. I'm going to feed it 50 grams of flour and 50 grams of water. And then I'm going to monitor this later in the day, and I want to see what it's looking like. I'm hoping to see some bubbling. So let's go ahead and feed it. So it's 3 hours later, and we're going to check our starter, and the hope is that yours looks kind of like this. You see all the bubbles. It's producing gases that's making the bubbles, and that means that it's nice and active. All right, so now we're going to actually put our sourdough starter to the test. I'm going to make a loaf. I'm going to make it a half-size loaf, and then I'm going to just leave it out on the counter covered with some plastic wrap overnight. And the test will be, is it going to double in volume? I'm going to rest that for 30 minutes. I'm going to do stretching and folding and etc. But I'm just going to show you the final result tomorrow morning. So it's the next morning. And what do we see? Wow, the dough has at least doubled, probably about doubled in volume. So that's looking really good. See the bubbles there, a lot of activity. The sourdough starter was good. And that just shows you 7 days you can make a sourdough starter that's useful for making sourdough bread. Well, I'm going to go ahead and bake this loaf and I'll show you the result. So this, my friends, is what we call a dud. This loaf, not the first dud that I've had, probably won't be the last. And anybody who bakes sourdough regularly is going to have occasional flops like this. So what went wrong? What happened? I think there were a couple of things probably. The starter was quite young and not as strong as I would normally want it to be. But I think the bigger problem was it just bulk fermented overnight on the counter too long. It had risen quite substantially by morning, but I was already past the peak and the rise was fizzling out at that point. So therefore, I didn't get any further rise after shaping the dough and so forth. But I'm going to explore some of these issues a bit more in my video about maintaining your sourdough starter, and I'll talk a little bit about all the different variables that can go into producing sourdough breads of different types, flavors, and so forth. So that'll be coming. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please check out all the videos on Flour Power Baby. And thanks for watching.